Coming up on NTC News, an event on campus marches towards social equality. We have more.
The Northern Star uncovers a university fumble involving football ticket sales.
And a plan to clean up this eyesore gets derailed. NTC News starts now.
You're watching NTC News, DeKalb County's only television news source, on the campus of Northern Illinois University and from the Northern Television Center. This is NTC News Tonight.
Hello, I'm Corey Price, and thanks for joining us.
And I'm Jamia Green. Today is Thursday, October 18th, and this is NTC News.
NIU has been on the forefront of bringing attention to domestic violence and abuse.
There have been events and gatherings around campus all month long, and it culminated with a huge march called Take Back the Night. Crystal Termini has more on how Huskies came together to start a different conversation to help put a stop to the abuse.
Wherever we dress, wherever we go, yes means yes, no means
Women and men of all backgrounds gathered together in the MLK Commons for Take Back the Night, an event that sheds light on social injustices against women. Their mission is to end sexual assault, dating violence, and all other forms of sexual abuse. President of the Women and Gender Advocacy Alliance and organizer of Take Back the Night, Amy Juarez, feels it is important to bring people together to back one another.
I firmly believe that if we're educated and we're empowering everyone on campus, and especially women who are, especially right now with the political climate, really need it and need that support and need to know that we believe them and we are here to support them.
The treasurer of PRISM, Maggie Hitchcock, was not only a keynote speaker at the event, but also the leader of the march around NIU's campus. Hitchcock says it is important for the community to give a helping hand.
I think it's really important to show up for survivors, especially in our current political climate. And I think hearing the individuality of each story is how we grow as a culture.
As politics played a huge role in the night's rally, the participants made sure to make their way past the DeKalb Police Department. This was before arriving to the bonfire waiting for them in the East Lagoon. The final meeting place was a time to share, reflect, and be open with one another about personal stories. Juarez feels it is crucial to build a community here on campus that supports victims.
Everyone's just so amazing and so inspiring. The speakers tonight are, oh my God, they're such strong and inspiring women. And I just think when people hear that, they realize you're not alone, and that's why we need it on campus for those people and those survivors.
The night ended with a performance from the Harmadelics with an important message in their lyrics: unity, strength, and hope. From NTC News, I'm Crystal Termini.
Take Back the Night is an annual event that's not only held on our campus, but universities around the world.
Big news this morning that has everyone talking is the NIU Foundation using funds to buy back football tickets. The Northern Star released a story about the NIU ticket office buying back nearly $300,000 worth of football tickets to keep its Division I status. NTC reporter Victor Oweya sat down with the sports writer of the Northern Star to get more information on his story.
I'm joined here with James Krause, the sports writer for the Northern Star. How are you today?
I'm doing good.
All right, so basically the question is, how did you first come across this to be able to uncover this story?
Well, the way I came across it at first was through a Wall Street Journal report from August 30th that basically said out of several dozens of schools that they got attendance numbers from, all but one school, their announced attendance was off from the amount of scanned tickets that came to their football events, and that included NIU. Okay. So I tried to dive into a little more of that and you know, why those numbers were off, and that's when I discovered the buyback process, as it were, of having to buy back tickets if they don't meet the attendance requirements.
Right. So what key aspects of this story do you think are important for students to know?
Well, I think the main thing that I think a lot of students are concerned about when I've discussed this with them is that some of that money comes from the NIU Foundation. Now, the foundation, from my understanding, is predominantly set up for scholarships and paying for other aspects.
More so academic purposes.
Yeah, more academic purposes. But to see any portion of that money going towards something in athletics, I don't know how common that is. but it's certainly something that I think grabbed my attention and other people's.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, of course, it makes sense because it's a certain amount of money that was allocated for a certain reason. So how important is it for a school to have FBS eligible, to be FBS eligible?
Well, Sean Frazier did a great job explaining that to me. Basically, there's two segments of Division I football. There's the FBS and the FCS. FCS is certainly competitive just at the level of FBS, but they don't have the access that FBS schools like NIU do, which is to corporate sponsorships and payouts for games and that sort of thing, national television exposure. So certainly in terms of revenue and exposure, it's a big thing.
So can you put this into perspective for a minute? How much of the NIU Foundation funds actually goes to students?
For the most part, it all goes to students, the majority of it. In terms of how much they acquire in terms of donations and revenue, they make, hundreds of millions of dollars. Right. So in terms of how much is used, at least for the ticket buyback process, this past year was, a very small fragment of it.
Right. Well, thank you so much for sitting with us. I appreciate you stopping by and telling us this. Back to you guys at the desk.
Victor took to the streets to ask Huskies what they think about the ticket buyback.
Student athletes at NIU are already paid to go here, so saving them from going down to a Division II athletic program with that much money that's supposed to be used for other purposes just seems selfish.
If the benefit to the school's academics exceeds the money that we spent on the athletics, then I think that it's a worthwhile investment.
You can read more about the story in today's edition of the Northern Star.
4 men are facing charges in connection to a robbery and aggravated battery. DeKalb police say 2 people were attacked on the 800 block of Ridge Drive in DeKalb on Monday. Those who were arrested include 3 men who are in their 20s and a 16-year-old juvenile.
The Annie Glidden North Revitalization Plan is up for City Council approval and could be passed as early as November 26. Over the past few months, a task force has been holding community listening sessions and 45 projects have been added to the plan. The projects are broken down into separate parts, including transportation, safety, and security. Meanwhile, a few blocks away on Black Hawk Road, a plan to revitalize Greek Row was sidelined. The same commission in charge of the Annie Glidden project is urging the City Council to deny the application to revamp the former movie theater, Campus Cinemas. The building has been vacant for years, and a business owner is in the process of filing a new application to change the movie theater into commercial retail space and grocery store.
An NIU professor is in the eye of the storm when it comes to leading edge tornado research. And according to him, living in the Midwest may mean more twisters are headed our way. A new study by NIU meteorology professor Victor Gensini shows that a trend over the past decade shows more tornado activity in the Midwest and Southeast. While the so-called tornado alley in the central and southern Great Plains is on the decrease, researchers say it might be caused by natural or human-induced climate change. I'm not sure if we have any tornadoes headed our way today, but we sure do need to bundle up.
Jacob Montesano joins us now with more on how the temperatures look for the future.
Thank you, guys. And unfortunately, as we look into the weekend, we do see the temperatures continuing to drop. However, they do look to rebound as we head into the early parts of next week. More details on the full weather forecast will be coming up after the break.
Coming up next, we have the story of an NIU student who is used to beating all the odds.
And time to take a pause. Some playful pubs are on campus to help people de-stress. All this and more next on NTC News.
What?
These are cool. Did you, what did
I understand. I know it's not your typical resume.
Okay, well.
But candidate. But I've been working double shifts just to pay for books. I've been raising my 2 little brothers. I'm determined, driven, motivated. Isn't that what you're looking for?
Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent at gradsoflife.org.
Drop that baby.
NIU is taking a big step in its effort to support the undocumented community on campus. The Student Association is collaborating with Dream Action to hold a referendum that will decide if the university will support the Access Bill. The Access Bill will essentially fund a scholarship for undocumented students. The president of the Student Association says it's important for NIU to hold true to its principles.
And I think if NIU is going to say that we are the most diverse school in the state and we are, this creates these inclusive environments, we have to do that for everybody.
The vote on the essay referendum is on the 24th and 25th.
Another thing the Student Association has done to approve a new student organization to help people who stutter. NTC reporter Brandon Giese had a chance to learn more about the National Stuttering Association and their impressive founder.
Postbac student Joey Stoyas may look like your average college student. Like many, he is confident, smart, and successful. Unlike many, he is challenged by having a stutter, one that at a point made him use a different alias.
Joey. I actually went by a different name for 2 years because I couldn't say my first name. That other name I went by was Zach because it just comes out so fluently and I don't have to say anything. Where as Joey kind of has more of that blocking sensation.
At a young age, Joey, not Zach, did not even realize he had a stutter. Joey did not let this stop him from doing the things he loved, from carving pumpkins to playing sports, all the way to serving his country.
So I went to basic training, and there I really couldn't run away. So I was just, this was like the thing I knew that was going to get me past it.
Joey's path to fluency is impressive, and he's constantly working on ways to improve. He also has other interests. I'm here in Worth Hall, where the NSA meets very commonly. Joey is the chapter founder for the National Stuttering Organization here at NIU. Their goal is to help people in our community.
I just want people who stutter to know that they aren't alone.
Joey and his colleagues are working hard to grow as an organization. Stuttering affects more than 70 million people worldwide. Ariana Carbajal, executive board member and secretary for the NSA, believes in this growth.
Education, that I think is our main goal, like educating and bringing awareness and advocating for people who stutter.
Joey and the NSA are continuing to grow as an organization and as people. For NTC News, I'm Brandon Giese.
The National Stuttering Organization has community meetings and discussion groups once a month in Worth Hall.
Students stressed out during midterms got a chance to pet, play, and interact with some furry friends. Therapy dogs were brought to the Founders Library yesterday afternoon to help students unwind. An outreach librarian says this is a chance for some students to have a pet away from home.
I mean, dogs, I think, provide, the unconditional love that I think that students like, the interaction.
Students will have another opportunity to pet these playful dogs during finals week.
Huskies had the opportunity to connect with companies who want to hire them. Students were able to meet and interact with more than 250 employers at the career fair yesterday. The free fair was open to undergraduates, seniors, and even alumni. Career Services Director of Planning and Assessment stressed the importance of starting the job hunt early.
So we're designing this for students to get a chance to come to this earlier so that they can see that this isn't something you do one time at the end of your senior year, but it's something you do incrementally beginning your first year at NIU, getting prepared.
If you missed this event, Career Services will hold another one in the spring.
A new state-of-the-art research building will be coming to campus soon. Governor Bruce Rauner was on campus last week to announce the building of a $23 million research center. The Illinois Innovation Network is contributing $15 million to the construction of the building. The other $7.9 million will come from private investments and donations. Governor Rauner expressed how important these partnerships are.
Bring the most brilliant minds of the world here to the state of Illinois, help them do cutting-edge research, and help them form new corporations to drive massive economic growth for the people of Illinois.
The 30,000 square foot facility will be built on a 20-acre plot on the far west side of campus.
Students who went to high school in Illinois are looking at having millions of dollars in scholarship funds to help make school affordable. The program, which was announced this week, is called Aim High. An NIU official explains who the scholarships will most benefit.
So we're really focusing here local on students who are graduating from high schools here in DeKalb County, as well as students who will be transferring over from Kishwaukee College. And then the other area that we're really focusing on is the city of Chicago.
The state contributed $2.7 million and the university matched the funds. It will be available for the next fall semester.
An NIU professor gets a prestigious award. Dr. Ji Chen was named a 2018 Nursing Educator Fellow by the Illinois Board of Higher Education. Chen received $10,000. She says that she misses helping patients, but she is happy knowing that through her students, she will help many more.
I feel like through them, I will help more patients. I think, this is a really meaningful profession for me. So I really be proud of, I was proud to be a nurse. Now I am very proud to be a nurse educator.
NIU College and Health and Human Sciences Dean says Dr. Chen's contributions make the already strong nursing program even stronger. It feels like we skipped fall completely and went straight to winter. Jacob joins us now with more on that and what we can expect for the weekend.
Yeah, unfortunately, as we look into the weekend, the conditions aren't looking so good as we expect rainfall and colder weather. But if we look at the current temperature outlook right now, we have very wacky weather across the United States. We have colder weather in San Antonio than we do in North Dakota. Now, right now, we have a lot of warm air right now in the Midwest, and what usually would happen is that warm air would move across the United States into our area and bring warm air. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case as we have a cold air coming in from Canada, and that's going to dominate much of the United States and bring cold air to us starting tonight. We have a low of 39, and we even have some frost possibilities into the morning hours. Now, thankfully, we do have calm winds at just 8 miles per hour and no chance of precipitation, but that won't be the case for the weekend. As we look at the current, the future forecast for rain, we do expect to see some showers come across the DeKalb area. Now, it won't be as much rain as we have down in Texas, but we could see a shower or two across DeKalb on Saturday. For the forecast tomorrow, we'll see partly cloudy skies in the morning with cloudy skies in the afternoon. We also will see the winds gusting a little bit more at 17 miles per hour. The temperatures won't be too bad with a high of 55 and low of 40, but if we look into Saturday, we won't see the weather be very nice. We have showers and windy conditions throughout much of the day, and the temperatures with a high of 48 and a low of just 26, so there could even be some snowflakes into Saturday evening. But if we look at Sunday, the temperature and weather will be a lot calmer with a high of 48 and low of 34 and the winds much less at just 10 miles per hour. And the weather is going to continue to get better as we look into the next several days with highs up into the 50s on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So early next week will feel more like fall than it will this weekend. Back to you.
Coming up, grunting, groaning, and Greek life, how tug of war is bringing people together.
Also, we'll take to the skies to drop in on our homecoming experience. Stay with us.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
Time now for a look at this week's sports.
Marna Sotelo joins us now with more. Thanks, guys. Homecoming week may be over, but Husky athletics is very much in action. Let's take a look at how things played out on the gridiron. The football team won a nail-biter Saturday, overcoming a double-digit deficit in the fourth quarter. Quarterback Marcus Childers led the NIU team to 21-24 victory after accounting for 314 yards, including 169 rushing yards. Senior left tackle Max Sharping stole the show, however, when he converted a ridiculous two-point conversion, completing the comeback and keeping the Huskies undefeated in the MAC. NIU is off this weekend, but will be traveling to BYU on October 27th. Moving from one field to the next, the men's soccer team also found success against a solid University of Drake squad. The Huskies were down all throughout the first half, but managed to mount a second-half comeback. Freshman forward Nick Markinich netted his 6th and 7th goals of the season to draw the Huskies level with a final score of 2-2. The team is currently 3-1-1 at home this season. With the men's soccer team rolling, a certain athlete continues to make his mark on the pitch. See how our very own Kobe Price kicked it with this week's Leader of the Pack. Senior midfielder Kevin Rodriguez has been a crucial part of the men's soccer program since 2015. The Pasadena, Texas native was inspired by Ronaldinho and started playing soccer at 9 years old. Rodriguez currently leads the team in assists with 7. He finds joy in setting up his teammates.
I'm just glad I'm able to put my team in a good position to score and make our team win and be successful.
Even though Rodriguez values setting up his teammates, he approaches the game with the flair that matches his skill level.
He can do things with the ball that the very few players in college soccer can do. So when we get him isolated in 1v1 situations, he has the technical ability to get into dangerous positions. So there's just, again, every team in the country is looking for that type of player. So we're very fortunate to have someone like him here.
Rodriguez says he's taking leadership responsibilities more seriously as a senior.
It's like his quickness, you know, when he's going 1v1 with the player, his change of pace is something that I notice and something that I try to implement in my game. So that's one thing, and also his first touch and his finishing is very good.
Rodriguez's unselfish playing style leaves him as this week's Leader of the Pack. Kevin will look to lead his team to more success. The Pack will currently finish a 3-game homestand Saturday when they host the Akron Zips. The women's soccer team ended homecoming weekend with a thrilling victory on senior night. 2 first-half goals helped the Huskies hold on to their first MAC win of the season, ending a tough 8-game losing streak. Senior Abby Gregg scored in the 17th minute, and sophomore forward Amanda Zerniak added another goal to secure a 2-1 victory. The Huskies are currently deadlocked in a matchup against the University of Ohio Bobcats and are aiming for their first home win streak of the season. Moving on to volleyball, the team unfortunately lost its matchup against Buffalo on homecoming Saturday. Senior middle blocker Meg Wallowitz reached 1,000 kills, but it wasn't enough to put her over the top. A pair of NIU errors in the 5th set allowed the Bulls to take a 17-15 win and ultimately take the match 3-2. The Huskies fall to 7-16 overall and 5-3 in MAC play. A certain athletics team is preparing to tug it out this weekend. I got the opportunity to pull closer and see exactly what goes down in the trenches. NIU's Penn Atlantic Association is gearing up to face each other this weekend for the annual Women's Tugs Tournament. There will be 6 sororities competing in this year's competition, including Delta Zeta and Tri Sigma. With first place and bragging rights on the line, each sorority knows exactly what's at stake. What can't be underestimated is the power of perseverance. Tri Sigma captain Carly Riley is proud of the way her team handles adversity.
When we have a hard practice and girls are hurting, no one wants to give up. We always want to keep going, do that extra hit, keep trying, always end on a good note. I think we have a really great group of positive girls that really want to do well this year.
With months of preparation leading up to the tournament, the road to success isn't easy. Every practice brings the most out of each participant, pushing them to their limits.
With passion, toughness, and dedication, these contestants are up for the challenge. Delta Zeta captain Jordan Redner wants her team to wear their hearts on the battlefield.
We're going to go in there and we're going to give it everything that we have. We're going to leave everything on that rope. And if that's first place, then that's first place. But if it's not, then we're going to give it everything that we have and we're going to be proud of whatever we do.
Delta Zeta was eliminated by Tri Sigma in last year's event, ending their 10-year championship run. While the team is looking to replicate its success, they, along with all the other sororities, also realize the impact of tugs across Greek life.
It's something that really brings Greek life together on this campus, which is something that's kind of like dying at this point. It's something really cool. You see all of Greek life out, everyone hanging out together, watching, supporting their own fraternity or sorority.
Rich tradition, friendly competition, and unity make this year's Tugs tournament worth watching. NIU Tugs is taking place this upcoming weekend at the University Plaza. The tournament is set to begin at 4 p.m. on Friday. That's all for NTC Sports, and as always, go Huskies. Let's send it back to the desk.
If you were at the Huskies homecoming football game and looked up, you would have seen a pretty cool sight from the ground.
I, however, got to see the Golden Knights take to the sky from the sky. I got a bird's eye view of the parachute team as they took flight with the game ball in hand. Check this out.
Out of the gold, into the black, once you're there, you never go back. Who? The Golden Knights. Home team.
NIU's 112th homecoming football game was filled with excitement from start to finish. Husky Nation witnessed a momentum-changing strip sack, a come-from-behind victory, and the university's first successful two-point conversion since 2011. But one thing that stood out above everything else was what happened before the game even started. In commemoration of the 50th anniversary of NIU Husky ROTC Battalion, the U.S. Army's aerial parachute team performed a jaw-dropping demonstration for the Husky faithful. Formed in 1959, the Golden Knights were originally created to compete in national and international parachute competitions with other countries during the Cold War. But this time, the Knights weren't a part of the competition. They were part of setting one up with the delivery of the game ball from over 4,000 feet in the air. As one of the most experienced jumpers on the team, Sergeant First Class Keith Pierce had the honor of passing the ball over once he touched down.
First I was just like, hey, it's gonna be really exciting to, get to jump out of airplanes for a job and just get paid to do it, be in the Army. But then once I actually started doing it, I realized kind of how much it meant to people.
While Sergeant Pierce was in charge of ensuring the ball made it down to the field, Chief Warrant Officer 3 Troy Emig was responsible for navigating the flight.
Every single jump is different. Every single jump has its uniqueness about it.
In addition to interacting with people and bringing smiles to their faces, the Golden Knights want to increase the morale young people feel in the U.S. Army.
Really getting to get out there and interact with the public and hoping to instill pride in the younger generation, get them to enlist in the United States Army, United States military, just so people like me can get out and retire.
With such an awe-inspiring entrance into Husky Stadium, it's safe to say the U.S. Army made a great impression. Jamia, I'm not gonna lie, I was so nervous when we went up there, and it was absolutely freezing.
I was watching from the field, but if I wasn't so terrified of the heights, I would have loved to have been up there.
Only you could have been.
That's all for NTC News. I'm Jamia Green.
And I'm Corey Price. Be sure to check out Top Shelf Sports tomorrow at 12:30.
From all of us here at NTC, have a great day.